refresh the page. Hopefully we're live.
Yeah, it says live on my end.
It
There's a
does
little
on mine
red
too.
button.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting to see if Becca finds the live. She's trying.
You know what we ought
We
to
are on
do?
Facebook.
Yeah. I think what we ought to do, once I start live streaming, we're gonna call it Undead or Unlive with
Unlive.
Nevermore
I
Hollows.
like it.
I like
We
it.
are live on both YouTube and Facebook now. A little bit
What?
early. It's a little bit
Just
bonus content for all the
bonus?
listeners. So, welcome back to Miss Monsters and Mullets Live.
Mhm.
Tonight we have the one and only Lafayette Faust, aka Bubba Jr. Jr., aka Alan Wattenbarger from Nevermore
Yes.
Hollows.
That's
How you doing
me.
tonight, Alan?
I'm good, John. Thank you.
So we have seen each other twice in like a month.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like maybe we're on the we should set a wedding date.
Alan, you're telling all of our secrets to the whole world. You know, the
Right.
two people watching, Becca and Becca.
Right. So is so Becca, yeah, I see what you're doing. I know the secret, but I was gonna say, which one? So we got Becca from local, right? And then we have the other Becca from what? Uzbekistan? We gotta make up something for the other Becca.
It's you, Becca Stan, because
Yeah.
she's on YouTube. So,
Um, yes,
um, we had a chance to reunite where
yes.
we met at
Reunited, and
the
it
Ohio.
felt so good.
That's right, at the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree.
Yep.
It was October 4th, so a week ago, a little over
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
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 Um,
I find it hard to believe that it's been a year since we have met and this relationship has evolved into a friendship, you know. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
I agree. It doesn't seem that long. I feel like we've known each other forever.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It's weird because, there's parts of it that it's like we grew up together, but two, it almost seems like, it was yesterday too. It's one of those weird things,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I agree. Who would have thought 1 year ago,
Yeah.
John Methenkamp walking around the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree acting a fool,
Yeah.
would end up
Right.
with his own podcast,
Right.
and then I, kind of pushed my way into Nevermore Hollows.
Yeah, but we're glad that you did. Um, we're glad that you did. I got something. I'm gonna do something here in a minute. Just keep talking. I'm working on something.
Okay. I'm gonna keep talking about I don't know, because this was supposed to be a back and forth, Alan.
Yeah,
This is hard to do.
yeah.
You just keep texting other women. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm not texting. I'm getting ready to upload something so I can share it with you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, so a year ago, I was just the goofy guy with a mullet. And
you
now
still are.
I'm still the goofy guy with a mullet, but I have a podcast. Um,
Mm,
you've introduced me to Matthew from Drunken Cryptids.
yes.
Still haven't I still haven't gotten over that one. Um
It's like a bad hangover.
Right, right. I don't know if
We
he's
love
watching
you,
or not.
Matthew. We
I don't
love
know.
you.
He well, it says I got 4 people watching, so there's people somewhere watching.
Yeah.
Um, and then our little community grew, and we have Chumming with the Spirits involved now, and
Yeah.
ghost gossip, and we just keep growing. I need to
I love
get
it.
I need to get Nelly on my show.
Look, I sent him a text earlier because he's in the new Tiberius Post story that dropped today.
Oh, is he?
And
Don't tell me too much because I haven't listened to it yet.
I shan't. But I asked him right as I was writing it. I thought, man, because here, how it goes is I had this idea for a story and it was out there for a year. I couldn't figure out how to make this story work. And I was listening to a Dancing Toaster episode and he was talking about something and he's the subject that he was talking about was when I heard it, I went, that's it. That's how I make this story happen. So then, by this time I'd been reaching out to him and having a couple of conversations with him. And I thought, well, if he's okay with it, I'll just write him into the show since he helped, give me the inspiration to bring the idea together. Or not necessarily the inspiration, but he gave the topic, which allowed me to bring the story into focus. So I wrote him into the show, and I feel like I did a good job capturing what I know of him so far, and putting him in Nevermore Hollows in such a way that we can set him up as a recurring character. So I'm eager to hear back from him. I've not heard back from him yet. So
For everybody that's watching, we are talking about the Dancing Toaster podcast, which Chris turned us on to.
yes,
Wasn't it? Chris was the first one to listen because that's
yep.
what Chris does. He
He's good at getting us onto some really cool stuff. Yeah.
Corky is watching on Facebook. He says, "What's up, fellas? What's happening, Corky?"
What's
Corky was my
up?
guest last week. Yeah,
Yep.
and he's coming back on to do a private interview here in a couple
Yeah.
weeks. So
Good. 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 Love Corky. He's fun.
yeah,
I need
yeah,
to get him on my I keep saying I need to get him on my show, but I've been so crazy busy lately. I know he's working on what his 14th show. He's always
He-
starting something new, it seems
yeah.
like.
He's got like at least a half dozen podcasts. I don't know.
Right. He's busier than you and I are. That man's always doing something.
Right, right. His new show is good though. Have you listened to it
Yeah,
yet?
I hadn't had a chance to listen to it yet.
Well, I mean, I'm on there, so it's really good.
Right. Well, it just means that he knows how to get good good host, or not host, but
Guest.
gosh, guest. I'm having a stroke.
Well,
Yeah.
he had to pay a lot for me to come on.
Oh, did he now?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I have booking fees.
Oh, I see that. All right. All right. So I need to send you my contract because I've been giving you these interviews for free because I'm trying to be your friend. But if you're charging people, I'm going to start charging you.
Well, I don't. I'm pretty cheap actually.
Oh yeah, that's what Becca says.
Yeah, she's over there shaking her head. She said yes. She Hey, Corky said I took food stamps. Hell of it is, they were the
Oh,
paper ones. They expired in 1985.
right, and green stamps too. Remember the green stamps? You got the book
Yeah,
of green stamps, the
yeah.
S&H? Yeah.
So let's talk about OBJ.
Okay.
So what did you enjoy about this year's Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree?
All right, there was a couple of things. The first thing was, again, 2 times in a row, an absolutely stunning day. Beautiful. It was beautiful up there.
It was.
Warmer this year than last year, but what I love about Ada, Ohio, is it is such a beautiful little town, and I want to move there. Uh, Number two is, getting to take a moment, just brief moment, and having a brief conversation with Justin and Jay. Love those guys. They're awesome. But I'd say more importantly, getting to hang out with you and Chris and Becca, and just a little bit with Matthew. I know he was busy. He was doing some stuff there, um, speaking and whatever. But just getting to see you guys face to face was probably the best. But I got to tell you, the funnest thing was when you and I were riffing off of each other as people were walking up to the booths.
Yeah.
Because clearly you're able. You've got the ability to you know improv. on the spot, and not a lot of people can do that. And there was a couple of moments there where we were goofing off, trying to get each other's, get these folks to look at your stuff and my stuff, and it just flowed so naturally in the moment. And I think as we continue to try to do some cons and stuff together, I think we're going to be pretty successful. We're going to figure out how to get people really engaged, because that's my thing. I've been talking about, you go to most of these cons and most of like OBJ, and there's so many good people. There's so many creative people there with booths, but they just sit there. There's no
Yeah,
engagement until you walk up and they're like, "Hey, how are you? This is my stuff." I want to make our booths an attraction. And the number one way you do that is you just engage people. But visually, how do we make these an attraction? But the most important thing is making those connections with the people and being personable. And I feel like you and I were able to slip into that really quickly and easily last week.
I agree. I agree. I like when we first set up, I was behind the table. I'm like, this just does not feel right.
Nope.
I got to be out there and grabbing people.
Yep.
And that was a lot more fun than sitting in my chair. You know,
It is. And
but I
that's
tell you,
where
my
the
my
first
my I'm getting old, Alan,
yeah,
because the
really.
next day my legs hurt.
Right, right.
Standing all day in the sun,
Yeah.
legs hurt.
It was my low back. My low back always hurts. That's how I know I'm getting older. But like the first con that I went to, Chris, when I met Chris, or when I met Chris years ago, but when Chris got involved in the show, he's like, you got to get in the cons. And that first con for me, we weren't together. He had his own booth and I had my own booth. I was bored to death. Even as I was talking to people, and then I was like, screw this, man. And about halfway through the day, I just started going, "Hey, you! I see your tattoo. It's a cool tattoo. Come over here and talk to me." And it worked. Because that's what they're there for. They're there to be engaged, right?
Right.
And so then I was like, it was a light bulb moment for me. So every con after that, I started kind of amping it up. You know, let's just get a little bit more, into this, engagement thing. So now, Chris and I sat down, or on our drive either up or back from Ada, we discussed what our booths will look like going forward. We're really going to do some visual stuff. Um, and then, you and I have talked before about dressing up in character, and, like you already do, and just engaging the people from that angle. So,
I'm putting a
but anyway,
stripper
all
pole
that to
in.
say, that's what I liked most. What did you like the most?
Well, Matthew says, "What's up?" I don't know if you've got your chat thing open or not.
How do you do that? I don't know.
Over on
How
the
do you
over
open?
on the right-hand side, it says chat,
Oh, and it's got
and then
5
up at the
messages.
top, click on live stream chat,
Yeah. All right.
and then
All
you should
right.
be able to see it.
I see it now. Uh, I
And then
like
there's
it.
Ashley from Ghost Gossip. Yes,
Woohoo!
Ashley, I know it's hard to believe the mullet is fake.
Yeah.
But
But
what I enjoyed most,
yeah.
was the people, you know,
Yeah.
getting out there and talking to people. Secondly, was actually, I hate to admit it, meeting Matthew in person for the first time.
Oh, yeah. That was your first time with Matthew, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We met, Larry from Chumming with the Spirits for the first time.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matthew, I know you're shocked.
Yeah. So,
He
so
didn't
I
realize
got
it till last Saturday.
So Ashley, I'll just tell you this: the mullet doesn't make the man makes the mullet, whether it's fake or not.
See the shit I put up with all the time.
But
Anyway.
that was a compliment. That
Oh,
was
was it?
literally that was a compliment.
Okay. Because the mullet's fake, so I thought you
Yeah.
were saying that I'm you know, I'm fake because I made the mullet
No,
fake.
no, what I'm saying is it may be a fake mullet, but you make it real. Come
Oh,
on,
that's
man.
true.
Look,
That's
why are
true.
we hating on each other? I thought we were brothers.
Because we pick on each other like we are brothers. If people, read our text messages, they
Right.
they sometimes they would probably think we do hate each other.
Well, like today, I was, usually y'all are beating up on me, but I was beating up on y'all pretty hard this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Speaking of the other member of our texting group,
Yeah,
Chris was going to join us tonight, but
yeah,
he was unavailable. So we will have Chris come in the live here in a couple weeks to
yeah.
talk about Black Sheep Studios.
Good,
But
good. Because we really
so
need to
for
push his stuff more because, man, he's such a great artist, and his heart is such that he steps into the background when he needs to be side by side with us, you
yeah,
know? So,
that's what I was trying to say in our when I was setting this up. I don't feel like we push Chris enough.
I
You know,
agree with
it's
that.
always Miss Monsters and Mullets. It's always Nevermore Hollows,
Yeah.
and Chris is integral for. I mean, he brought us all together, so
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know he should we should be pushing him a lot more. So everybody
Yeah.
go over and check out Chris Goins, Madman Goins, Black Sheep Studios. Check out his art. I have one hanging over here, but I don't know if I want to show it. It's the
Yeah.
one he gave me at OBJ.
Right. And this right
You know
here.
which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. And, I mean, he does his own original stuff, but he also does, he does commission work. And he knows that I love the old Looney Tunes stuff. And as much as I love Speedy Gonzalez, my favorite Looney Tunes character of all time is Slowpoke Rodriguez. Okay, and he comes by the house one day and he says, "Hey, man, got something for you." And he drew me Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Heck
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's the way he is, man.
yeah, very
And
cool.
and you showed that Speedy Gonzalez glass, and Becca and I were at some antique malls looking for to try to complete your set.
Yeah.
Holy cow, those Slowpoke Rodriguez glasses are expensive.
Yeah, he's the one everybody wants. Yeah.
Wow, we found the other ones for like $10, maybe less. And we find two of those and they're like $90. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy cow.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Alan, I don't like you that much.
Right?
So let's talk
So
about Nevermore Hollows
okay.
because there's going to be people that, well, for one reason, I took my season one down because I didn't like the audio. So a lot of your
Mm,
episodes got taken down on my channel. So
okay.
let's talk about Nevermore Hollows. What is Nevermore Hollows?
Nevermore Hollows is a podcast about a creepy little town called Nevermore Hollows in somewhere on the coast of Georgia, right? And it's surrounded by dense, dark Dunwich Forest, which obviously is an imaginary forest, but it's named after the Dunwich Horror on three sides, and it sits on the coast, so it's got a bay, which we understand now is Nevermore Bay, but there is a pier called Fike Pier that makes an appearance in the new Tiberius Poe story. Just
Okay.
briefly,
I
yeah,
was going to
just
say I hadn't
briefly.
heard about Fike Pier yet.
Yep, yeah, and so it made sense since we
Wait a
determined that
minute, Alan. Alan. Becca said that was named after her, not me.
right. Right. Uh, so anyway, we've got a cast of recurring characters. Not every story has a recurring character. Some are one-off stories. You can jump in at any point and be immersed, but if you started at the first, you'll see where some of the characters evolve. How just as we go deeper with the characters and whatnot. But um, and how it started. Excuse me, how it started is in 2008 I published a spy novel, and that spy novel had all kinds of horror imagery in it, and I'm like, why am I writing spy novels when I love horror? So I wrote a horror novel. It was kind of like my anti-Twilight novel because I got tired of going into the stores and seeing all these stories marketed to 14-year-old girls about love the demon, love the bad boy and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, well, what if I wrote one from a different perspective. So I started trying to shop it around and get a publisher. And what publishers and agents were nibbling at it, they were wanting me to change everything and make it an agenda piece. right? Where I just want to write a fun story. Now, this one, obviously, if you read it, you realize there's an agenda in there, but it's not the forefront. It's just
Right.
I tried to write a good story first. So I got frustrated because I did not want to sell out. And so I decided, well, what if I did a podcast? Podcasts were, this was about 4 or 5 years ago now. And so I had to learn what I mean, I knew what a podcast was, but I had to learn all the how to do everything like we all have had to do. And I started just putting out I started putting out the book as just a chapter was an episode. And then at that time, I'd already written all these other stories about this town. So I thought, well, let's just make this all a podcast. So there you go. That's Nevermore Hollows.
So was um Grace Macabre always set in Nevermore Hollows?
No. So that's a good question because it changed drastically because of my son, right? Her name was Grace Marshall, right? And all these characters were named normal names. And I was just like, man, it's lacking that whimsy, right? It's lacking whimsy. So I was driving down the road with my son one day, who's a comic book artist, and he has a comic book out called Mighty Snell. And I mean, that is total whimsy there. It's about these two aliens that they're anthropomorphic snails basically. They're buff, but they've got snail-like features, and they crash land in Japan, and they decide they want to be superheroes. So everybody thinks they're in cosplay. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? And Mighty Snail is always wearing the Japanese flag, and it's so offensive, but he thinks he thinks I'm the savior of Japan, right? So I was talking to my son about embracing the whimsy, and he was like, well, one, why don't you just set it in, in the town that you've been writing about? And I was like, huh, okay. And then he said, and to embrace the whimsy, if you change the name of the people, it kind of helps you define the character and it embraces the whimsy of it all. So I thought, okay, what we name her. And then I went down this whole rabbit trail and ended up with Grace Macabre because it fits, Grace, right? And there's a line that I had to go back and rewrite where when she meets Sarah for the first time in the school, and she goes, "I hate my name. It's Grace Macabre. It's so dark and morbid." And Sarah says, "No, it's perfect because grace covers death."
Right.
Right? So
Right.
that changed everything in that book. I had to go back and do a lot of rewriting in that book, and it changed everything. And so, while the other stories are more popular than the Grace Macabre stories, it was Grace Macabre that started it all.
Right. And then at first, because um oh, what's his name? The main creature that Grace Macabre, the
Oh, the
everybody's
crawling man.
the crawling man. Kept wanting to say Slender Man, and I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah, yeah,
You have a story in there about the crawling man.
yeah,
Um, did that's okay. So Grace Macabre obviously became before that.
yeah.
Is the crawling man part of the Grace Macabre story?
Yes. So there's a couple of chapters in there where we see the crawling man. Um, he's kind of like he's a side thread at the moment. You've got the main story in the book of Grace Macabre and where she's dealing with the runaways, but you've got all these child abductions, and they're starting to call it the crawling man is stealing or is abducting the children. Well, the book is we're almost completely done releasing those chapters, right? I took a couple of I took all of last month off and most of this month off to just kind of chill out and then come to Ada. But there's only like 7 more chapters left, and then the next chapter she fights the crawling man, and this is her part of her hero's journey, right? Where she has to prove herself. So she goes and she finds the crawling man's lair, and she
Mhm.
has to fight the crawling man to see if she, that's how she gets her. She doesn't have powers, but it's how she proves to herself that yes, I can fight these supernatural battles. So that's coming up. That I think it's going to be the next chapter that drops. And I feel it's a very creepy scene when she goes to his lair. And
Yeah, I
so
think the last one, like, they found the lair,
yeah, yeah.
but
So
they
in
didn't
this
go
one, she
inside it
actually
yet.
yeah. So in the next one, she's going to go inside the lair, fight the crawling man, and the lair is really creepy. And so something interesting there is the crawling man. When I was trying to figure out how integrated do I want these stories to be? Well, obviously they're all integrated because they're all happening in the same town, and there's an ultimate reason why all this is happening that we haven't gotten to yet in all these stories. But the Boo Hag, right? The two Boo Hag stories are two of my most popular stories. Okay. And what we find out is, and I think I even say it in the second one, she shows up in Nevermore Hollows because of what Grace does to the crawling man, which we
Yeah,
find out is her son.
yeah. Well, I mean, you say that in the second Boo
Yeah,
Hag, so that's
right,
you're not giving away anything, but
right. So that's how it ties in with the Grace Macabre stuff.
gotcha, gotcha. I know this interview is kinda hard for me because we've done this interview a couple times,
Right, right.
in different settings, but, like I said, I've taken down some of that stuff, so I wanna kinda go back over it a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, when I started listening, I started at the beginning with what I consider the beginning,
yeah.
which is Psycho Juju, number 1.
Mhm, mhm. Yep,
But so I listened on Spotify, okay?
right.
Matthew says, "My favorite episode is Drunken Cryptids Tavern." It's a good episode,
Yeah,
but
it
you gotta
is.
listen to the rest of them first, Matthew. I mean, that's way down the line. But, um, I go onto YouTube,
Yeah,
and there's some bonus stuff on there that's not on
yeah,
Spotify.
yeah,
There's one, The Crisis Line.
yeah.
Um, do you consider that part of Nevermore Hollows?
Yeah, I wrote that story in the '90s and was shopping it around to that's back when magazines would buy stories, right? And I was shopping that around to some magazines, and then I decided, it's not really what I want. I wasn't completely happy with it, so I just stopped. And then when Nevermore Hollows started, I thought, well, I brought it out, dusted it off, tweaked a few things. Never actually say it's in Nevermore Hollows, but it is, and just tweaked it a little bit and put it out there.
I liked it, but it took me like, I literally found that just, like, 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Matthew. He's been hiding them
there's
from us. They're on YouTube.
yeah. And there's some stuff that we've been releasing on. There's a whole new episode that we released last month on Patreon. That's like an hour long. It's a little over an hour long. It's the night the Unpretties died, and that's where we introduce the not only we've known about the Unpretties for years. Because I always mention the Unpretties, but we actually recorded a song. I put a band together. We recorded a Ramones song and dropped it as the Unpretties on uh, Patreon, and we wrote a story about the Unpretties, and we introduced, which I was so excited about, the evil band Blood Pope,
Yeah.
right? When Blood Pope shows up, I was like, I told Chris, I went, there's got to be more Blood Pope stories. So what we're doing is we're creating. I've got a Unpretties T-shirt. You've seen it. I wore it
Mhm.
last Saturday, but we're going to have a Blood Pope T-shirt, right? And it's going to have a really cool logo and all that. My son's going to be working on the logo for us because he's into that world. So anyway, so yes, I say all that to go, yeah, there's stuff out there if you look for it that's on one platform, it's not on the other.
Right. I think Blood Pope needs to be part of the, um, the stories that take place in the past,
Yes.
like a 1980s
Yeah.
Nevermore Hollows.
Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to go back and write the story about Stan Satan Delfino from Trailer 66, right?
Yeah.
I've got that's one of those stories that it's literally, I don't typically do this. I don't typically have an outline, right? I may have a paragraph or so, but it's typically, we've talked about this before. It's typically a guy with a fake mullet shows up in Nevermore Hollows, go, right?
Right.
And for me, that's a fun way to write because I'm experiencing it. Once I get into that zone, as creatives, when you tap into that zone, whether you're an artist, whether you're a musician, whether you're whatever, or an interviewer, there's a point where you catch that wave, man. And as a writer, it's literally, I'm just trying to write fast enough to keep up with what I'm seeing in my head. It's like I'm documenting what's happening. So, but that story about Stan Delfino, Nevermore Hollow's worst serial killer, right? I've got that story. It's almost, I mean, I've got it mapped out. I know what it's going to be about. It's going to be a very 80s slasher movie kind of thing. I just have to write it. But now that you say it, yes, Blood Pope could fit into that particular story really well. But I say that too. There's a lot of stories that I have that are story ideas that are set in the 80s. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it could just be like a spin-off series because
Yeah.
the 80s were so badass, I can't imagine Nevermore Hollows in the 80s.
Right, right. Seriously. So, and I say this, we all, as creatives too, we always have the dream of, something happening that, our shows take off and it be what we do for a living. And Chris and I talk about this all the time. And I think I've even said it to you. If Hollywood was to ever come knocking and they go, we want Nevermore Hollows, I could literally go, which part? Because there's so many. You've got the Tiberius thing that could be its standalone, right?
Mhm.
You've got the Winona stories standalone. We could write a whole series going forward of just Winona's Waffle Hut. There's so many different. I added it up one day. There's like 7 different storylines that could be all individual intellectual properties that tie under the Nevermore Hollows umbrella.
And you can make,
So,
the Drunken Cryptids Tavern kinda like Cheers.
right? So seriously.
But every time somebody comes in, mayhem happens. It's
That's
not
right.
where everybody knows your name, it's where everybody loses their life. I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, come to the Drunken Cryptid's Tavern where everybody loses their life. I love it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Matthew
so
Matthew did a live earlier today, and I felt
yeah,
bad because I was in the middle of editing episodes. So, I'm trying to stay ahead. And I was thinking at the time, I'm like, okay, he's going to start here in about 15 minutes. And I look down and it's like 20 after. I'm like, crap.
yeah,
So I came into your live late, Matthew, and I do apologize. I need to go back and watch it. So, but we all understand. We're all busy. We're all trying to get this stuff done. Patsy would have been a number one hit in the 80s. I hope Hollywood picks it up. I agree. I
yeah.
agree. Patsy, are
Oh,
you
thank you.
listening to Nevermore Hollows now? I met Patsy through Chumming with the Spirits. She has become a follower of mine. I know that, Matthew. I know that.
Yeah.
But
So, I would like to share something with you that from last week and our, so as a horror writer, right? Something happened last week that you just can't make up while we were in Ada. You just can't make this stuff up. Okay.
it happened at
So
the trailer of
it happened
horrors.
at the trailer. Yeah, the trailer of horrors. All right. So I want to share that with everybody. All right. So we're up there. Through my son, I met James Joseph Jones, the gentleman that I brought up there with us. And James has a series of vampire novels that he has published. And James was really great at supporting my son's endeavors, right? And then including Ethan in doing some art for his books and whatnot. So at one point I was like, I just need to meet this guy, right? He's such a nice guy for my son. I want to meet him. So I meet him. So we let James, because I'm always griping because I don't have any time, blah blah blah. Y'all have heard that sad story. If he just says that one more time, I'm gonna smack him, man up, right? Well, so brother James decided I'm gonna book us an Airbnb, or I'm gonna book us a place to sleep, right? So he had to do it in two different locations. One was 30 minutes south of Ada on that Friday night, and Saturday night was 30 minutes north of Ada. All right. So I took some pictures. And I want to walk you through some of this stuff. Okay. So so here we go. I'm going to share my screen and tell y'all a little story and walk you through some of this. And so entire screen here. All right. So, all right. So we spent all day in the sun, even though it was a beautiful day. It got really hot at one point. So we're all drained, we're all tired. Then, we all went out afterwards and went to the bowling alley, and we had pizza, and we had some adult beverages, and we fellowshipped, and it was great. Well, now we're worn out. So we had to drive out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was nowhere, right? And now this is the next morning. Okay, first I'm going to show you a picture of where we were. So this this is a picture from outside where we were staying. Imagine a 180, and this is all you see is wheat fields, and behind us was cornfields. So we're out in the middle of nowhere. So right out of the gate, you're like, oh no, we are out here. There's nobody else out here. Okay, so it's dark. Now imagine this. This was taken the next morning. So the next morning we took a picture of the trailer. This was the hellhole that we were staying. so so I was like, brother James, I thank you. Thank you for taking that, you know, off of our shoulders and booking us. But what were you thinking? Right. So so he was thinking like most of us, he's thinking cheap. We got to do this on the cheap, right?
Yeah.
So that's the next morning. Now at night when we showed up, it was just dark. I mean, we're we're 30 minutes from a town, and you know how small Ada was, right? It's
Yeah.
tiny, tiny, right? So I mean, there's complete darkness. There's no street lights, anything out there, right? So we walk in. The first thing that we see when we walk in. So imagine this: you walk into this trailer, and it's a crap hole, man. It is a crap hole, right? Every so I mean, it had the smell of it. It smelled like mildew. There wasn't. We checked. There was no mold. There was mildew everywhere, right? So we walk in. So imagine you walk in through the door, and the living room. It looks like it's from 1975. No lie, right? And then there's a cot right here in the living room, and then there's the kitchen right here to the right, and then there's a little alcove that had two beds in it. Then you've got the hallway, and down the hallway is the bathroom, and at the back of it there's a bedroom. There's also a bedroom. When you open up the door, there's a bedroom right behind the door. Okay, so
Okay.
there you got the scene. So we open up, we flip on, only half the lights worked. So when we're flipping on these lights, right, we're flipping on these lights, and everything is in shadow. Now, there was a ceiling fan that they had wired with a regular electrical outlet from and it was hanging from the ceiling fan all the way out and plugged into a wall. That's how the ceiling fan was working.
Oh my god.
Okay. I mean, this was like crap hole. So when you walk in, we flip on the lights, everything's in shadow, right? But there's this right there in between the living room and the alcove, there's like a bookshelf that's got glass in it, right? And it's just dark. It's dark. There's no lights. In front of that is a little I don't know, it was just like a little just little box. I don't know what it was. It was a table or something, right? That had doors on it. So we walk in. The first thing we see is this. Okay, it's sitting on that table. All right, and you go, all right, Alan, it's just a creepy little clown figurine. No biggie. Okay, right? So we're all making fun of that, right? We're like, oh my gosh, we're creep. So then we start walking around opening up drawers and cabinets. Okay. So in the living room, I open up a cabinet, and inside the cabinet is this little guy. It's under the TV, right? So then we walk into, I lay down to go to bed and I turn on my flashlight on my phone. And then I'm looking in that bookshelf that's got the glass in it. And guess what is staring at me? This little booger right here. Okay? So so I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So everywhere we looked, there were clowns. There were clowns everywhere we looked. Every time we opened up a drawer, there was a clown. Every room had a clown. And these were old clowns from like the 70s, right? So we go into in the kitchen, there's this big, it's almost like a broom closet. We open it up and there was this huge clown, right? And we called him the boss clown because he was ready to kill us. And this is what he looked like. He had a hammer. He had a hammer. So he was going to get out and kill us when we all went to sleep, right?
Oh my god.
So my son says, I'm not sleeping in a bedroom, right? I'm not going to be that closed off. I'm going to be sleeping in the living room where there's more areas that I can,
Run.
egress in case somebody comes in. So my son walks into his bedroom and he says, Dad, you've got to come see this clown. It's distorted. Okay. This little booger right here was crawling around on the floor.
Is on the
Okay.
floor?
Yeah, it was on the floor and something has chewed away at the edges of it, right? So so I'm like, "Good lord." I mean, this is not all the clowns we found. This is just some of the clowns, right? So, right? We try to go in there. It's late. We're wanting to wash up, right? No hot water. It's just ice cold water. And then James says, there must be a high iron content in this water. And we said, why? And he goes, have you smelled it? We're like, no, why? He goes, it smells like blood, right? So Chris goes in there, smells it. It smelled like blood. My son goes in there, smells it, smells like blood. I smell it, smells like blood, right? So we made it through the night. Okay. We made
Barely.
it through the night. And I want to show you this. So I'll stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. Okay. So we made it
What?
through the night. And being a
Chris is
horror
over on
writer,
YouTube. Okay. Hi, Chris.
yeah. So being a horror writer, I decided I can't leave that house of clown horrors without I stole the creepy little distorted clown that was crawling around. He's got his hat's been chewed on, probably by a rat. His feet's been chewed on, probably by a rat. So my
And James
son,
just lost his deposit, which was like 13 cents.
right, right. So it's funny. When I picked it up and said I was going to bring it home, my son says, "Have you not watched horror movies, Dad?" It's
Right?
not a good idea, right? So I brought it home and I showed all this. I walked my daughter and my wife through this little story I just told you, and I pulled it out of this bag, and they were like, "Nope, nope, it cannot stay in the house." So
Is
here
it
it is.
laying on its back or is its head turned around?
It's on its back, okay? It's on its back, but its head is all weird shaped.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was like crawling, but no, it's like that
Well,
is
the
weird.
way it is, it was like it was crawling on the floor, back on its back, like The Exorcist.
That sounds like something from Nevermore Hollows.
Right. So what we decided, Chris and I on the way back, we were talking about our experience in the trailer, and we decided there's going to be a story in the Pink Flamingos trailer park where Psycho Juju decides to take over a trailer.
Oh, yes. And all the
Right.
clowns. He's gonna have multiple
With all the
clowns inside
clowns.
the trailer.
Yep. So anyway, so there you go. That's our horror story from Ada.
Wow.
Chris says, "Get it blessed."
What, Becca? Becca said it just looks happy.
Yeah. Happy because it's eating the children's souls.
Patsy asked us it started moving around your house.
Yeah, well, I keep it in this bag. So, and it's a Bucky's bag. So
Did you get some of the peanut butter medallion things that they have there?
no, we didn't.
Oh, they're like Reese cups, but bigger. Oh my
Oh,
god, they're good.
see, and I'm
They
a
are
Reese cup
so
fanatic.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had them up by the register. You stopped there in Kentucky?
yeah, yeah. We
Yeah, they had
I
them up
got something
there.
call a paddle. It was like a croissant.
I don't know what you guys did in that in that trailer terror.
Yeah, right. So, Patsy says, "Keep it in holy water." The funny thing is I have a mason jar of holy water.
He's waiting for Dolly.
Yep, yep. So, and it's funny how when you're a creative, you go, okay, I was writing the story, the drug of the damned, and I was like, how am I going to kill this thing? No lie, and I was stuck on the story for like 2 or 3 days. And my son comes home because he goes to a Greek Orthodox church, and he comes home and he goes, "Hey, Dad, look what I've got!" And he sets a mason jar down. It's got water in it. I went, "What's that?" And he goes, "It's holy water." And I went, "Holy water in a mason jar is so southern."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how the idea came of how we were gonna kill Dolly.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Like I said when I texted you earlier, Becca and I were, driving to Bradford yesterday, and she was listening to Drug of the Damned,
Yeah.
and the whole time, all I could think of was, like, our ad-libbed lines that we were doing for, Pink Flamingos Trailer Park Players Present. I was like,
Right.
"This just doesn't sound right."
No, no. Once you hear it the one way, it's hard to get it the second, so
Right, right. So, we made it to we listened to Mr. Crispy today, and we started Tiberius Poe and, where he goes out to Hollywood.
oh, yeah, the bloodstained starlet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Becca is almost caught up,
Almost. Yeah.
but she hasn't listened to Grace Macabre yet. I told her to do that all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah. Junior Chris over there, what happened in the trailer stays in the trailer.
I just gotta tell you, it got weird in that trailer.
I'm
It
sure it
did.
did.
It did. With all them clowns and it was just everybody had been drinking a little bit, and we were all in that trailer, and we were just it was just weird.
And you just made it 100 times weirder.
I did on purpose.
If you want some comedy in Nevermore Hollows, you gotta go listen to Pink Flamingos Trailer Park Players Presents
Yeah,
Drug of the Damned.
that's right. Put that on a biscuit.
That's right. That's right. That's what we gotta do next. Alan, we've gotta do one of these live.
Yeah. I'm down. But we gotta pick one where we can make sure we get all the right people that need to be there at the table, you know?
Right.
So, but I'm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Um, so cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
we've been going for about an hour now,
yeah.
48 minutes. Do you have any parting words for everybody watching?
Um, I'll tell you this. I'm thankful to be part of this community, and I'm thankful for the folks that listen, and I'm just happy to be here, man.
Yeah. I wanna say, because I say it all the time, but I wanna say it again. I'm
Yeah,
thankful for you and Chris and Matthew,
yeah,
because if it weren't for you 3, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be talking to everybody right now,
right.
and I appreciate your friendship. I really do.
Well, same here. Same here. And that's the thing, we've talked about this before. As creators, this is why you do it. You want to make a connection. And sometimes that connection you never get to meet the person. They may make comments on what we're putting out, and that's great. And I've got a couple of folks that do that I've never met them, but I always get to comment on their comments. But
Mhm.
then you have these special moments where you meet people and build relationships, real relationships, like with you and Matthew and learning to get to know the guys from Chumming with the Spirits. I'm still new to that, but that's what we do. That's really the ultimate reason we try to create, is to make a connection like this. So
I agree. I agree. Tell everybody where they can find Nevermore Hollows.
everywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. And I gripe about YouTube a lot because you know the podcast platforms grow steadily, but YouTube is stagnant. I can't figure out what to make YouTube actually do anything. It's frustrating. I'll drop an episode like I did today, and within minutes, it's got all kinds of downloads all over the world. And YouTube, a week later, will have 5
Right.
views. It's frustrating.
Yep. Patsy, we want to meet you too. Patsy's
Yes,
been in my live a couple times on TikTok. I haven't worn my shirt in a while. My Peyton's Paranormal shirt. She sent us shirts. So
cool.
maybe I'll do that for my next live. But yeah, make sure you're checking out Nevermore Hollows everywhere you listen to your podcast. Go over, subscribe, follow, leave 5 stars, tell a friend about the show.
Yeah, and we
Mm.
appreciate it, and we try to answer everybody. If you put something in the if you put something in the if you make a comment, we absolutely will we absolutely will comment back.
Damn it, Chris.
I'm just saying, for a small fee, we can make this a thing.
Or we can stop it altogether. Oh my god.
Don't challenge me. Chris should know better.
Oh my god. Wow. I gotta shut this down before I get banned over here. We don't know what he's gonna do next. Chris, don't tempt him. Don't tempt him, Chris.
Well, the funny thing is, I'll tell you this. This actually, my sleep pants are pink flamingos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You need to market those.
Yeah. I'm going to trademark it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
trademark the pink flamingo. Nobody can ever use pink flamingo unless they pay me.
Good luck with that one.
Worth a shot.
All right, everybody.
Well,
I do
thank
appreciate
you,
everybody
man.
watching tonight. Everybody that commented, make sure you're following Nevermore Hollows. It's a great show. It's my favorite podcast. Yeah.
You say that to all the podcasters.
I say it to all my guests. No, truly. Yeah, I Jones for it, man. I Jones
Well,
for
thank
it.
you. That means
I've
a lot
listened
to
through
me.
several times, and I think you can tell because I text you and I say, I missed this the last time.
Yeah, which I love. I love that that people pick up that I do drop things in some of these episodes. So, yeah.
Chris is just happy you got pants on because it didn't sound like you did last weekend.
Right. It does get hot in here sometimes, and I have to do what a man's got to do.
Chris, come on, man. All right, everybody. Make sure you're following Nevermore Hollows.
Thank you.
Next week, I think Matthew and JD and Parachum are coming in.
Good.
Double check.
That'd be good. Yeah.
So everybody will be watching for the live next week. Go over, check out Nevermore Hollows. I suggest starting at the beginning, but you really don't have to. Don't try to start Grace Macabre in the middle.
Nope.
Make sure you start that one at the beginning. But everything else, I mean, you can kind of scroll through and find one that sounds interesting and listen to it, but go to the beginning. You'll be busy for weeks. So, all right, Alan, thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for always pushing the show, brother. It means a lot.
Well, You succeed, I succeed. So
That's right.
that's right.